All right, today gonna do some stuff to fix my Bowden tube, and then get our little spring device printed.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going all right. I'm trying to figure out how to get some help designing
Get some help designing what?
an antenna.
An antenna. I'm afraid I don't know a whole lot about antennas. I remember studying them once upon a time, but
Yeah, once upon a time, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. I'm probably looking at the wrong antenna design, but I am currently printing an experimental piece.
what's the antenna for?
The antenna is for embedding a NFC reader into the carriage plate.
Ah. Does the antenna need to be all that special? I mean, some of those chips already have a small antenna embedded on them, don't they?
Not the NFC readers, because remember the NFC, the antenna's got to actually generate enough. The antenna's got to have enough power to power the chip. So anyway, yeah.
Well, I never studied anything that would help with that, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I'm probably looking at the wrong family of readers. So, although I am looking at the NFC. Oh, neat. Anyway, I'm waiting for Domino's to get here. I looked up and it was 9:30 and I haven't eaten yet. Hello. How are you?
Not bad. Just about to go to bed, so you guys are online. So figured come say hello.
Gotcha. What time zone are you in?
UK, so it's 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's definitely time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Did you guys made your correction to daylight savings?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. So I am exploring. I'm experimenting with a free switch contact, or not contact switch, but words. I'm printing one out for the lockup. So screws that go into the back of the carriage plate.
Locating pins.
Well, no, they're not locating. What it is they go to the back. Essentially, it puts the 3 pairs of pins, and the pins become contacts for the ball, which form a switch. So when all 3 balls are in place, you have a complete circuit.
And that would help us tell if it's got proper lockup.
And that'll tell us if we've got a. It'll also tell us we can monitor that switch environment. That if you're printing and the state is right, if that switch opens, we can do an e-stop.
Oh, okay.
Because we've obviously dislodged the tool. We've dropped the tool while running.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does. I understand what you mean.
And it's normally open, and because we're using plastic and pins, and the balls are also mounted in plastic, the balls become contactors.
But I mean, it's a really nice idea, and I like the idea for contact. But isn't it more suitable if we do it simpler, so it requires less complicated implementation?
Well, the thing is, we're also looking at making sure that all three balls line.
Okay, so you're using it
instead of just a physical.
It's like a positioning sensor, not just like, is it attached, yes or no?
Right.
Okay, because I was thinking like you could just do the same thing with an optical end stop and a flag, and the end stop would be inside the tool head.
Yep, and folks have started looking at that, but what if you're caught? What if you've only got two balls engaged?
I mean, you could kind of deal with that situation by, I mean, I haven't used optical sensors, but I assume they're really sensitive to how deep you are in it in terms of triggering.
As long as you've got good shielding or
yeah.
Well, you're yeah.
So in that case, like, it can't tell you how deep the flag is inside the sensor, but it can tell you if your sensor is just barely inside it. Like, you can make that your locking point, and then as soon as it starts to sag anywhere, it's triggered out of that area. Although this might be complicated because
vibration can cause it to shake.
Yeah, exactly. And hence the electrical contacts you're thinking of. Yeah.
And it's really simple because what it is I've got. Let me see if I can put a picture on here real quick.
No, I get it. The end stop becomes those three contact points.
Yeah, and what I did is put an M3 flathead screw that comes in through the back of the plate, and it's countersunk, just a smidge, right? And it goes right into the back of the pin. So you put the screws in, then you back a couple of steps, and then you verify looking down. This is before you mount the pins in it, right? You verify looking down to make sure that when the screws were threaded in, they opened up the back of the seating point, right? Then you put the screws in and then drive the pins all the way in and no contact.
Yeah.
And then you've got a contact point, electrical contact, the back of the screws or the back of the pins too. And I've got grooves cut in the back of the carriage plate to lay in your wires, your conductors. And so you just run those, and then you pick off you pick off any 2 points, right, as to where you want your leads to come off in order to read the contact, right?
Yeah.
So it would essentially, you'd pick off the two adjacent, not within the same mount point. Are these Maxwell? Is that what they're called? Maxwell?
Yeah, Maxwell coupling. Yeah.
Yeah, so you pick off two adjacent Maxwell couplings and the adjacent pin as your sense point. So, and then what happens is you've got those two screws, and when you get a complete loop when everything is touching. So
interesting.
I mean, it might work. I'm gonna make one, and we're gonna see. And it looks like if I've done this right, I can pick off screws that are inside the coupler body, and the leads will run out the same. I may have to open it up just to open up the coupler just a little bit, or not the coupler, but the center carriage plate. According to my CAD, that I've got enough space to take those and run them out the same hole that the Z-stop is connected to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does kind of make sense. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
We'll see. So how
I'd say I'm making some obsession.
we're gonna call progress. We're gonna say it's progress.
Yeah, thanks. Well, where did I get to last? Stopped doing that a few hours ago. Let me just check the picture. Yeah, so I was obsessing about vibration. I found that there's this weird. If I move slower, I'm getting more vibration. So I think some of the police are riding on their shims, not.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I'm going to replace the shims with proper precision washers, so they're thicker. And then put a bit of grease between the washer and the printed part or the insert, so I make sure that's a smooth motion. Because when I was putting them in, I mean they were pretty smooth, but they weren't completely freewheeling.
Okay.
So that might be playing one part of it. The other part of it was, like I said, about the full step lockup, where you saw the like moire pattern going up the side of the thing. So that was from that duet forum that I picked up on it. I've been considering that this can't be the belts, because like everything's riding on the proper idlers. They should be smooth enough. And so it didn't make sense that this was belt, and it just happened to be like 2 millimeter pitch.
And that's.
And then when I did the math and everything is corresponding to my micro steps. My micro stepping will give me 10.0005, which is what this is giving me in terms of like how many patterns you should see in a 10 millimeter space.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it came out to equal numbers, so I know that that's for a fact because of the stepping of the steppers. And that's why I was printing towers with varying current from top to bottom.
And that it was shifting.
And that was shifting. The funny part about the shifting, though, is that I thought my steppers were rated for 2 amps. They're not. They're rated for 1.68. So the shifting happened when they were above their rated power, which is interesting.
Okay, so you were getting some adjacent coil weirdness.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but like, okay, at least I know it's from the steppers. And then I did the last print I did. I had done a temperature tap and just to see where I'm getting the least amount. So happy now, where I can know, okay, well, this is where I need to be printing for it to come out nicer. But I'm still getting weird artifacts on X. We don't have a picture of that. There's one kind of pattern. Anyway, so I'm going to test it some more tomorrow. And hopefully just iron this out.
Yeah.
Like dimensionally, everything's accurate. It's just I want the things to look really nice, and like, how good can I get it at fast speed?
You know that I bet you if you just took like a couple of strokes on some 220 grit sandpaper, those would disappear.
Yeah, they would, but then it's mainly PLA, so like I'd have to flow it again for the surface to get nice, because they usually go white.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm getting really nice surfaces off of a yellow PLA.
Yeah. If it's the prints I was doing was in the glitter PLA from Filamentum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that stuff does not like it. The glitter turns into this white particle. Regular PLA, you get beautiful surfaces in this one.
Okay.
It's the glittery stuff that I'm like, okay. This is why I'm using it now, because I can get a good idea of what it's going to look like.
All right.
But yeah, obsessing over stuff I shouldn't, basically.
You're making your printer's doing nice stuff. I mean, I made up my tool lockup today, and I've got.
My wife was making fun of me. She's like, "You're obsessing more about like how neat it can be than just like printing stuff." I'm like, yeah, but this is thing. She's like, "Why don't you do more like colorful stuff?" Because I tried a couple of color prints, and my Z offset was off, so I was getting. So I said to her, "This feeds into that. If I can get this down, that'll look nicer too." So it's all related.
And it'll all tie up together nicely.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully. I mean, this is being locked at home is kind of driving me crazy. So this is keeping me sane. Well, when I'm not taking care of my daughter, that is.
Oh, believe me, I mean, I've been ordering out, and I probably ought not to, but I also lose big steps. So that's the best I can do right now, because I can't do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are staying safe for you. The U.S. is getting hit pretty hard right now.
Yeah, well, I don't even really want to, yeah. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to make some significant infrastructure changes coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Because
This just exposed how shit the infrastructure is. Let's just put it blunt.
Levi, move, it's moving. Sorry, I've got a big cat who decides he wants to get on a moving brick bed. And the thing is, it's a moving heated print bed, so he'll burn his paws. One of the steps bed in the frame gets hot. That's not a good thing. So, anyway, I gotta jump for a minute. My dinner has just arrived. So
I am gonna go hit the sack, so I'll see you guys later. Good luck.
Have a good night.
Later. I'll be back in a little bit.
Yep.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, trying to think of what else what I got because I don't even remember what I ordered. I just hit the repeat last order thing.
I guess you'll soon find out.
Yeah, it's probably Hawaiian and yep, got an orange soda. I don't normally drink soda, but dang it, I have an orange Fanta.
Don't you want a Fanta?
How's your day been?
Oh, not too bad.
Either my stream is bad or my focus is way off.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a smear across the
That's odd.
image. RFID tag on the tool. And then oh, there it goes. Hey, I have a picture.
Yay.
That is not broken. So yeah, if you had a rack of tools and multiple Jubilees, you could switch tools around if you needed to.
Right.
Definitely an upgrade though, not a standard build. Wow, there's like a bunch more chatting going on.
Chatting going on where?
Hmm.
I'm not looking at the screen right now. Yeah, so I placing the Bowden tube one last time.
Yeah.
Because even though I unclipped it, I could still feel hesitations in the tube as I ran the filament through. I need to get some tube that's has a bigger ID, because it's not like I need to it's not like I need to maintain like a pressure, you know what I mean? I feel like
Come on, guys. You're all being just jerks to me. It's like you're starting.
the cat.
Yeah. They've been fed 3 times today already. So not only have they been fed 3 times. Ooh, what is?
What's that?
Can I have that? Not even. Can I have some of that? It's like, give me it now. I have claws.
Oh. I think you feed your cats off your plate too much.
Wait. I keep pushing them away.
I don't know what's with my internet connection. Usually I have a fine one.
Yeah, everybody's watching whatever's on TV. I was actually thinking about going to go watch a movie or something, but I got distracted. So I got my tool lock put together this afternoon, and I got all the heat of that done. And so my next steps, I guess, are I'm getting ready to make up the carriage. And that's when I figured it's like I was going to look at, I started looking at this going, I'm going to make sure I've got, it has the parts in it, right?
Ooh.
So you're getting ready to make up your second
I will make a second tool sometime in the nearest future, but not tonight. I'm still trying to work out the kinks with what I have to my satisfaction. I think I need more Bowden tube.
Levi, I have never fed you up here.
But now I feel like I'm getting close to being happy with everything about the setup of it. But I do need to, I don't know, I mean, I guess I could print off everything the way it is and then worry about fixing the fan later. Kind of would like to have one tool working completely, but yeah, these little 4010 fans are kind of a joke. They really have. Have you used one before?
Yeah.
As a print fan?
Well, I've used the stock Enders. They have a 40. They're all they're using is a 4010.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the nozzle's just too broad for the 4010 or something. I don't know, but I can barely feel any air movement underneath there when I put my hand under there.
Right. Hey. Stop. No.
I also went and, I don't know why I didn't do it from the beginning, but I put a fresh spool of filament on here. So, I have more material to work with now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that spool that I had on was some remnant that I had pulled off when I was going to do a big print and didn't want to have to worry about running out.
Got it. Yeah, I keep printing. I'm still printing more face shields.
Yeah, I could print the bands, but I don't have the material handy for the elastic. nor do I have material for the face shield itself, so.
There are some community stuff where they're sourcing that part separately.
Not even entirely sure what material, because it's like when I look at the Prusa site, like I see different things, like their tutorial on how to put them together was talking about using like, looked like plexiglass or something, and then another thing was talking about using a laminate for transparencies, or for documents.
Yeah.
So.
Well, report, transparencies tend to be too flimsy, but I'm using report covers.
But yeah, I went to, like I have a few of the heated laminate, you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
And, but it's opaque until you run it through the heating process.
Yeah.
And I don't know what would happen if I try to run one through without a sheet inside it. Maybe it'd be fine, and maybe it would turn clear. But I only have like 2 of them anyway. So.
I mean,
I'm
using Office Depot report.
What's that?
I'm using Office Depot report covers.
Is Office Depot even open anymore?
Yep.
It's not really an essential business.
They bought Office Max.
No, I meant open because of the COVID stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're shipping and they're doing curbside pickup. You order it and you just pull up, right?
Gotcha. Alright, hopefully the filament actually feeds through the tube this time without getting stuck.
So where are you putting your,
Huh?
how do you have your spool mounted?
It's not really a location that I could use to print anything large. It's actually underneath the print bed right now. So if I were to print anything more than like about 100 millimeters or so, I might have an issue. 100, 150.
Okay.
But it's the only place I have in proximity to the printer.
What if you had a rack that hung off the front? Or just hanger, that came off of the wiper?
I mean, there's different options that I could explore in the future. I don't have anything without making something right now. Honestly, I was thinking about just taking some PVC pipe and hanging it over the printer somehow. That'd be simplest solution, but I just haven't. But for now, I'm not planning on doing anything crazy. so this will be fine for the time being. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure these clips aren't squeezing the tube.
That's caused problems already?
Well, remember how I was telling you yesterday that I couldn't feed it through.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yeah.
I was having like a really tough time getting it to push through, which of course isn't going to be good for the printing. The stepper's going to have to work that much harder. So I just wanted to, I replaced the Bowden tube completely because even after I took it off of the clips, I could still feel it catching as I was feeding it through, so so this is Bowden tube number 3. The first one was simply too short. I think it was just a piece of scrap I had that I didn't bother cutting. It was fine until I had the nice clips to work with. And then the second Bowden tube just got too much damage from the clips, so.
Got it.
There, I can push it through fairly easily now.
I see that you're filing the clip.
Yeah, I could feel just a tiny bit of snugness when I fed it through. There was 2 clips that had, again, that was just because I'm the big box right now. I can't really, there's some issues, and I'm not going to resolve them until I upgrade the firmware, and I'm not going to upgrade the firmware until this thing is working the way I want, so. But the point is I have a little bit of a Z issue that I need to figure out.
What's that?
Hey, now that I fixed the Bowden tube, it fed right into the Hemera.
All right then.
I think that was a lot of my problem then.
Well, there you go. Now I'm getting to see what
What's that?
lag.
Yeah, my internet's not good right now, so. Yeah, I got a quote to put in the cement slab.
Yeah?
I think I told you about this a little bit before. I want to put in a cement slab so that I can put in a shed.
Yeah.
And so far I've got the okay to do it. The whole process is going to be a bit more expensive than I was hoping, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do? All right. Okay, I think I'm ready to start printing something.
What you gonna make? Oh, did you put the springs on?
That's what I need to make, actually.
Okay.
I need to make the 3 more caps. So then once I'm done with that, I'm debating on whether I want to print another benchy to see how things are as they are.
And then start dialing in your adjustment.
Oh, true. I should run some tests for surface. probably print a cube then.
You
And
see
look.
that first off extrusion check that I sent you?
You know what? Let me look at that while this is doing its thing. I haven't actually read through that yet.
So I was having a hard time getting to sleep last night. It was about 4:30, 5 o'clock before I finally fell asleep. And then my alarm went off at 7:45 this morning. So that's my second alarm because I turned off my first one. I forgot about the backup. And apparently, I don't really remember doing this, but apparently I ordered I went ahead and ordered that thing, the Brother label maker that does shrink tubing. It was 38% off the retail price. So, yeah, I went ahead and got one.
Nice. How much was it at 38% off?
$213 or something like that.
See, I'd like to get some more toys, but until things turn back towards the more normal, I think I'm gonna slow down my toys purchases.
Yeah. I got to look at some pictures of the laser and a video chat with Luigi. So I asked him to send me an invoice. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but.
I'm jealous. You keep doing all these things that I want to do. I told you about I wanted to get a nice piece of marble. You went out and got a nice piece or granite. You went out and got the nice piece of granite before me.
Okay.
And then I've been telling you I wanted to get a bigger laser, so you go out and get a big laser.
Yeah, but you already have a laser, so you beat me there.
All right.
And I've got some of these extra 20 millimeter pins. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work on the pin that I've got, or on the plate that I've got, once I put a pin in it, I can just break the pins out of it. So,
you know what I think would be a neat feature for a slicer?
What's that?
Something that Oh.
You broke up there. Something that what?
Hold on. That was strange. Something that automatically, well, it looked like it was going to go pick a tool, and then it didn't, and I thought it screwed up, but it didn't screw up. It actually just, I don't know what it was doing.
Waiting for the tool to heat up?
Something seems wrong. I'm like way above the print bed.
Oh, your Z offset? Do you have baby stepping?
Baby stepping? I have no idea. I have whatever is improved as the default profiles.
Okay, so baby stepping lets you in real time adjust your Z offset. I don't know if it does that. Let me find out.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to have it set up properly. I'm just going to cancel.
Well, baby stepping lets you adjust things. So.
Well, I'm just going to check out my. Tell you what, filament really does come off the nozzle X really easily. Just a light brush with a toothbrush and it's perfectly clean.
You've got a nozzle X, right?
Yeah. I'll have 2 tools with a nozzle X and then I'm just going to stick with regular brass for the rest. I have a ton of brass nozzles.
You seriously just stole my seat as soon as I got up. Sorry, did that hurt?
That's kind of annoying. If I want to pick up the tool, right now it just kind of automatically extrudes some because of that macro, because I wanted to purge the nozzle.
Oh, okay.
So no matter what, it purges the nozzle. That's one downside to adding that to the script.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something I can do to change that. Okay.
Duet 3D, baby steps, Z-off.
I'm just gonna fix it properly.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Huh. It seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything seems to be perfect, so I'm not sure what happened there. Very odd.
Okay, so there should be a baby stepping control on the web interface.
I have the Z like perfectly aligned with which all the prints yesterday were perfect, so I don't think changing something mid-print is the answer. Something else is happening. Oh, it didn't purge. Dang it. Why not? Why aren't you moving, extruder? Or are you moving? Huh. It is moving.
Okay.
Somehow I seem to be off the filament. Yeah, somehow I guess it decided to retract so far that it got out of the extruder, which is really odd. Must have. What's that?
So that's not normal.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something I did. I don't know what, but I'm sure I did it. What the heck? What is going on? Yeah, it still seems like it's not down far enough, which is really weird because the Z offset's like perfect.
What's the grab your calipers and measure the thickness of your skirt? You might have to pop it off and just measure the thickness on it.
Oh, I got a measurement. I was just double checking what I have the first layer set to. Where is that? I forget. I am not used to Prusa Slicer. Yeah, I'm within like 0.04 millimeters of the correct height.
Try cleaning your print bed. A bit of alcohol and a wipe. Sometimes that can help.
Where did those go? Yeah, I'm not used to printing the build tech, so.
Yeah. Very soft music.
We gotta slow the first player down a little. I think that's also part of the problem.
How fast are you running your first layer? You die.
I thought that was...
There is nothing in it.
I don't know, it says 40, but it seems faster to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm?
seems to be printing now.
It's printing the caps, yeah.
Okay. Bye. He's a little mad at me. He was getting brushed and then he rolled and tried to bite the brush as I was brushing. It seems to be printing.
Yeah, it's printing. I mean, this is basically what I do.
What's that?
Oh, the Prusa method of calibrating your filament.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally like somebody watched me do it. And when I did do that, I had pretty much what seemed like a perfect extrusion, but I'm going to print a cube, and I want to see what the top layer looks like.
Okay. Did I send you the calibration gadget? Maybe I didn't. Hold on.
Which calibration gadget?
It's a Thingiverse thing. But if I'm going to spend it to the office, right?
I think I lost a little connection there and didn't quite understand what you just said.
I said if I'm going to send you the thing that I like, I want to send the Thingiverse link so you can copy.
Okay. Well, this spring is rather tough to cut.
Yeah.
I barely scratched it, but I succeeded in bending my pliers a little.
You need hardened clippers.
Well, I thought that's essentially what that was, but guess not. I have a feeling the only thing I have that might have a chance at cutting it is the Dremel.
Oh, that could do it.
I don't feel like going through all my tools and eliminating one by one that won't work until I find one that will. This is a robust spring. This is a rather robust spring. I cut it no problem with the Dremel, but sure is tough to get it to bend flat. Like I just wanted to tweak it a little bit to make it kind of flat on that one end. Easier said than done for sure. All right, one down.
Well, that's good.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, I poked myself with the file as I was filing down the inside so the one side can slip.
Oh, okay.
There we go. One mini shock absorber. Well, two, actually.
Okay.
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty decent.
How's the build going?
I finally got that floating pulley printed. I ended up having, I mean, God, I can't count how many times I
And you did it in PG.
yeah.
You probably could have done it in PLA, Josh.
Yeah. I couldn't get the surface finish. I printed it flipped like I did the original time, and I just could not get surface finish that was okay on that little ledge where the spring is going to ride. So, just having terrible problems with blobbing and other stuff, and was, trying to kind of baby it, take it slow. I did all the things that you normally would do, slow down the print, that kind of stuff, right? Turn was the Z distance for my was off.
Too big?
And then, go ahead.
Too far away from more than, right?
What? Sorry.
More than one layer?
Yeah. And I was having problems with it when I printed with a single layer, with it melting. So I said, you know what? To hell with it. Normally I run, with fan on this at like 70 to 80%, and my temps are in kind of the regular PLA. I said, I'm going to keep the temps the same, but I'm going to bump the fan to 100%.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to set the top layer fan to 100% for it, just to make sure. And did that and set the layer height to 0.1 and perfect.
Yeah. Congratulations. There's some other things too. With inserting, you have to manually edit the GCode, but you can actually insert a short layer of your.
I thought about doing that.
Yep, just even 5 or 10 seconds.
So the good news is I got my switches for the locking mechanism all wired up. I've got all the individual parts for it. I need to press the bearing into place, the brass bushing into place, and other things. The only one of very much that M3 nut that's supposed to just drop in.
Oh, no, it's pressing in.
I pressed that sucker in, and the only problem I have is it did deform the bottom side of the pulley a little bit when I pressed it in. So I basically sanded it.
Okay.
With some superfine to bring it down. There's a little tiny bit of a hump there, but doesn't matter.
No.
That piece is not writing against anything, so.
Okay. So shock absorbers are installed. Nice.
Yep.
So what do you think?
Good. I think I need to back off how deep I'm pressing in a little bit, because I'm fully depressing the shock absorber, which isn't good. But kind of defeats the purpose a little bit if I'm fully depressing it.
Yeah, I cut a millimeter off the push step.
Yeah, I gotta go through all the.
Steve.
What?
Yeah. Sounds like Steve's making progress.
Indeed.
Yeah, I just wish I had, I spent a bunch of time on other stuff today. You guys will laugh at this. I went out and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm already printing masks. I'm going to print more. I'll go out to Micro Center and pick up a 3D printer. Now, to understand, the Micro Center by my house normally has a stack of probably 10 or 20 Ender 3 Pros sitting in the back corner, you know, waiting
Not a printer
to
to
go
be.
out. Not a printer to go out. The choices were they had like 2 Wanhao i3 pluses in box. They had like 4 returned i3 pluses in box. They had one of their printers, their dual extruder printers, which are not good. That was it. Their
Wow.
PETG, normally there's like 3 aisles of PETG. Rolls of PETG on those aisles. None. Not a spool of it in sight.
Between not being reason the maker community step.
Yeah, and here in Columbus, we have IC3D locally.
Yeah.
Is they're printing a very specific mask that has been approved by the Veterans.
Which one are they doing?
It's a variation on the Budman mask.
Okay.
They're like IC3D site. There's a version they have up there.
Yeah.
Well, if you order filament from them, they're running extra production right now for PETG, and they'll basically give, I believe it's a 15% off coupon for anybody who's masks, and then they take donations of masks there as well. They're one of the people coordinating all the use of the production bus.
Okay.
So they're super busy.
Well, you saw what the folks over at CME-CNC did, right?
That's what's funny was
and I'm doing 6,000 a day. You're doing what?
Yeah. Evidently, they're having I guess they're short on the lower parts because they can't make that.
Yeah, because of it doesn't injection mold. So Chuck Hellebach 250 out every 2 days.
A good friend of mine who is I kind of got into. He's the guy that I was helping with the Predator the other night. Good friend of mine. He started printing stuff, and his company found out about it, and they actually sent a donation in his name to one of the local charities for like $250. You know, just as a little thank you, with a note on the check.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like his company.
I mean,
if they're
I've been able to drop off about 16 masks so far.
Well, I've figured some stuff out, and I've cut my mask time down now to just over an hour and a half per mask.
Yeah. Well, which one are you making?
The Budman.
Okay, so that's gone a lot faster.
Yep.
Than the one that I started making.
Yeah. Well, when I first started making the Budmans, they were taking like 2 or 3 hours, probably closer to 3 hours or more.
Yeah.
And I figured out a couple things. With my 0.6 nozzle, rather than print with 0.2 layer heights, I'm printing with 0.3. So that right there sped things up. I was able to speed up to 80 millimeters a second for pretty much everything, except for the first layer, which I'm...
Okay.
And then I set the infill to lines. Basically set the wall count higher so that there is no infill.
Yeah, I mean, there are still going to be spots where you need to touch things up because of the way curves work. One of the things you can do is if you set your infill to concentric, and you bump your lines count up, the concentric will fill in
But yeah, I'm the first one with these new settings off, and it looks good.
Yeah, I need to put the larger nozzle on the CR10 because right now it's got a 0.4 nozzle on it.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to pick up a CR10 or something else in increased capacity, but I also sent an email out to them basically saying, hey, let me know how much demand there is for it. I don't want to spend a ton of effort.
Well, get your
if the local hospitals aren't taking it,
Well, who knows what they're doing.
At that point, I would, if they're not, or if there isn't interest in it, then I would probably start going with like the pooch ripcord stuff,
Just out of curiosity, why does it have to be PET G?
It doesn't.
On where you're at, and what they're taking. Ours are taking PET G only.
Really?
Yeah. For visors, they've said PET G only, and it has to do with how they're gonna sanitize them.
Are they using high temp? Because you can't really high temp. You can't autoclave PET G.
No, I believe they're probably going to use hydrogen peroxide.
I mean, are you setting up a print job?
I will be here soon. I'm warming up my nozzle right now, and I wanted to watch it pick up and put down the tool one more time.
Luke's working on something where they're.
Luke's working on what?
Luke's printing clips that go onto a ball cap, and the clips go onto a ball cap, and then they make a face shield out of the ball cap.
What the hell? Oh.
What's up?
Oh, I was confused about something.
Yeah, I've been running prints on the. I've had some failed prints on the CR10, and I don't want to. I'm actually finding I'm less likely to fail a print at a time. So it seems kind of dumb, but 1 versus 3 or 4 or 5 on the print bed, and then failing all 5 of them, or failing because the time doesn't much.
I've actually debated that because on mine I'm doing one at a time right now, and when I was looking at printers, I was like, well, they usually have the CR10S. I could get the 10S. I could get an Ender 3 Pro.
Yeah.
But the 10S, the price on it at Micro Center is about twice the price of an Ender 3 Pro. So
go with the Ender 3 Pro. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got two Ender 5 Pros out there that I still need to put together. But I ended up working on, when I had time today, once I finished the other stuff I had to do, I built my tool lock, and I updated, I did an initial design for a sensor, basically a serial switches for the lockup on the carriage lock. So I'm printing one right now. I don't have an STL or a visual in the stream yet, although I should probably, it's hard to describe it otherwise. The coupling plate has, let me just throw some pictures up there. Let's see if I can throw a picture up here and see if that makes any sense. Currently printing one right now to experiment with it.
You're saying Ender 5 Pro?
Well, I have two Ender 5 Pros right now.
How do you like them?
Well, I loaned my Ender 5 to somebody who's making masks with it now. But I'm getting ready to, I'll put them together tomorrow. They're still in the boxes. So, I'm working on,
Yep, that's the part I'm working on now.
Yeah, I finished that today. I should be able to just screenshot this and put it in the screen. There we go. So take a look at what I just posted.
Okay. What's this one?
So this is a lock carriage, right? Bridge plate. And
right.
The idea here is that is an M3 flathead screw. You're looking at the back of the plate.
Okay.
And so what happens is those screws are, when you put the screw in, you're actually you're going to have metal contact pin on the max coupling. So the pins are driven down onto the screws. All right. And then what you're doing is the two sweeping curves. You run wire from the screws in those two grooves there. And then you pick up the bottom two screws are the two poles of a switch. So the carriage locks up, you have continuity on all three maxwell couplings, and that switch closes. So yeah.
I have contemplated that you could use Hall effect sensors instead of switches.
I mean, you could. You have to mount magnets. But also.
Where the metal pin is now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right? So, I think it could be done with you could probably work it through so that there's less.
Well, the parts are important because they're providing a torque. They're providing a fixed amount of force on that torque. So the spring is important.
No, I know that. I'm not talking about those parts. I'm thinking about better positioning information. Because, for instance, right now, you couldn't detect the motor stall other than the meter switching that you're expecting to move in one direction, right?
Yeah, but you'd also have some current feedbacks on the motor.
Yeah.
So that bottom groove.
Josh found that
Yeah.
not reliable. That's how he tried it originally.
Well, no, that's right. No, your switches are still there, but the current feedback will tell you if the motor's stalled. That's what that's for. Yeah, and that bottom groove is so the wires can run across, and they will exit out. The wires will come out the same line as the V stop connection, so you just have another connector, and that gives you a positive indication of the lockup, or at least all three balls are touching both connectors. I don't know how I feel about the idea, but I kind of like the idea of a.
It won't work with what I want to do, but that's for later. So,
Okay.
what I want to do, I've already talked with Josh about it. He showed me a couple parts. He goes, "Oh, those are neat."
You're up.
Ceramic pins.
Yeah.
Replace the metal pins in ours, and then there are ceramic balls that you can get, but they're freaking expensive as all get out, and they're not drilled. So, finding something that would work for that wouldn't work. However, ceramic coating, the existing ones should work.
Well, get a couple ceramic coated and see how the surface tolerance are.
That was my next step. I was in the middle of talking to somebody about getting it done in Columbus. However, under the current situation, it's going to wait.
Yep. Yeah, I think I was running the CR10S5 at 100 millimeters a second.
Yeah.
And my Y stepper driver shut down.
Oh.
And of course, it shut down when I was printing 3 at a time.
That
so,
sucks.
Yeah, turns out that it probably overheated. Okay, that looks like over extrusion.
Over extrusion.
And you're still muted. Yeah, definitely. It looks like over extrusion because you're dragging the nozzle through it. What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
like in the middle. I mean, it could be slightly, but like even across the grain, I barely feel it at all with my thumbnail. I think it looks more dramatic than it really is, but
okay.
where it meets the perimeter, though, it's definitely bulging. I can try dialing the multiplier back a little bit. But the center seems perfect, which is interesting.
Kind of weird. I think that's almost a pressure advance problem there.
I was gonna say, do you have pressure advance or coasting turned on, or?
I couldn't figure out where the heck coasting stuff was in the Prusa slicer, but I'm pretty sure pressure advance is not on right now. I wanted to see what it would do, so I can try turning it on to see what happens. I don't really understand pressure advance or how it works, so.
Think of kind of like your PID tuning for a heater. You're basically, the way to think of it is the filament going down the tube, melting and out the nozzle is like a non-linear curve, right? So when you push,
I mean, I understand that part. I don't know, like, so for example, in the code it says M527D0S01. I guess I should just take a moment to read what the heck that means. Because I don't know what S01 means in that parameter, because that's just what was in there.
yeah, you've got to actually tune it, just like you do a PID tuning.
How do you do that?
There's a whole thing on it. Let me see if I can find it. So So the S parameter is the amount of pressure advance you want for it.
And it's a Humera, so 0.0 something. Give me a sec. 0.4 nozzle on your Humera?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to throw a value in there just for giggles.
Printing PLA?
Yeah.
Sounds like. Give me a sec. I will give you.
Should be between 0.025 and like 0.1.
Try 0.05.
Where do you get the number from?
Well, that's okay. So the tuned pressure advance with PLA on my CR10S5 is 0.0518. On a Humera, 0.3 nozzle.
So they basically give you starting points. If you look I put the Duet pressure advance page up.
Yeah, I was looking at it, but like I see. Hold on.
So
I was looking at it on the RepRap website, and it said like Bowden is usually 0.01 to 0.02.
Yep.
Bowden is bigger.
Well,
the pressure
so
advance
yeah.
Point.
So with a direct drive, you're typically going to have a very short, small amount of pressure advance. On a Bowden, depending on the length of the Bowden tube. So, for instance, on a
and how tight your Bowden tube is.
Right.
So did you mean point? You said 0.05 or?
Okay, so for my Humera, printing PLA is 0.051.
Okay.
And pressure advance on a Bowden is like 0.1 to you know, it can be 0.1 to 0.2, give or take. The numbers are much higher, like an order of magnitude higher.
So there's on the page that I posted, there's a little thing that says how much pressure advance to use.
Yeah.
And basically, you start with, you know, I would start with, you know, 0.025 to 0.05 and move up. The more tight the filament path is, and the shorter the path is, the less you're gonna have.
Yeah.
The one downside to pressure advance is that it does change for different types of filament. So if you're printing a very flexible filament, you know, like TPU, TPE, that pressure advance is going to be much higher than if you're printing a very rigid filament. Like,
almost seems like something you'd want to put in your slicer.
Yeah. That's why there's a G-code for it, and people set it in their parameters.
They put in their material parameter. So, but you know, I did the pressure advance on a Hamera 0.4 on PLA, which is what you're printing.
There's some custom G-code you can run for the filament.
Yeah. So I mean, it might be a good starting point.
So I like their simplest method possible thing. Essentially, you print a cube that's a single wall thick, and you have it change it every 25 layers, and you basically look at it and see where things are okay, and then where they get back.
Yeah. Same kind of thing happens in Clipper, except it's effectively automated.
The one thing I do like about my current printer setup, and a lot of people are like, oh, my hot end, basically the way that it mounts, there's quite a bit of flex to it in some ways. And I printed it in the one advantage that it really has is when you have a big blob of heat sitting on your head, obviously it normally kind of catastrophic. It just kind of bumps over it. But it's stiff enough that I can print at, you know, close to 100 frames per second, no problem. Because my other printer used to have just horrible process. It would practically just rip prints off the bed, or rip mess up the nozzle. I'd broke multiple heat breaks on it.
Crazy. I've never seen a heat break in my life. Heat break.
Yeah, it's possible. Done it at least once.
I've bent one once, but only when I was taking something apart, I think. haven't always had a success on every single print I've ever done. But on my big box, I mean, I can't even tell you how much filament I've run through that thing, and I've never had any issues with the heat break.
I had a nozzle break one time, and it was because, and it was a mess.
Are you buying official stuff, or are you buying, like, knockoff stuff?
Knockoff. This
okay.
was a Chinese knockoff, and I had the situation where my heater cartridge turned off, and because I was messing around with GCode, I was going in and hand editing stuff, and I accidentally set my temperature to 0, and didn't notice it, and it basically rammed the filament and just ground the filament against, and it was old enough, and, worn down enough on the nozzle. The front end of the nozzle just basically popped off.
That's gotta be some sort of really horribly made piece of crap, because for the filament to break, or I mean for the nozzle to break before the filament strips is, I mean,
it was bad. I looked at it and it was, you were just kind of like, wow, that was working, huh?
Yeah.
But that's what you get when I literally got a box of 10.4 nozzles for $2.50.
There's your problem.
I mean, 25 cents a nozzle. What's funny is, I used them for quite a while, and used them with like abrasive filament, because it was literally, I can go buy a nozzle X or something else, but those things are $27. I can buy 100 for that same $27.
Wow, that's incredibly different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't. Whoa. That could have been bad.
Huh?
Lag. You reached in and the machine is still moving.
Oh. Wow.
Like night and day, huh?
Yeah.
How's it look?
I don't know if I can adequately get a picture of the difference. Let me see.
Put them side by side?
Yeah. I put in your number.
Oh, the 0.0815?
Yeah, maybe I'll try one more time putting in a low number in. See, it looks worse on camera than it does in real life.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like in real life, like you can feel the difference, you can see the difference. It's a lot smoother. Well, I'll post the picture anyway in Discord.
So the one on the right.
Yeah.
Or is the one on the left is?
So that was kind of one of the reasons I didn't say anything. I was kind of curious if you could tell which was which.
I think. Well, the thing is, the angle is such I can't tell about the blobbiness in the corners. And it's also a bit out of focus.
A bit out of focus?
On the front.
No, I zoomed in on it. I opened it up in the browser. I can literally see the skin print of your hand. It's freaky.
No, just your hand is more in focus from the top surface. That's all. Your depth of field is really shallow.
I would say
I think the one on the left has got the pressure.
one on the left.
Correct. Yeah, it's like when you actually run your finger over it, it's a huge difference. Even if the doesn't look strikingly different, but I will try it one more time with the 0.25 and just see what happens.
Yeah, I would recommend
0.025. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend taking the time sometime to go through the tuning step with it. It can be, you can just find like the perfect spot for it, you know.
Yeah, and it's going to be based on your particular environment, but
And it's not even, you're not even with that really looking at like top surface. If you'll notice, your other one is actually slightly flatter. The one on the right, there's a little bit of concavity to the top surface.
I think that's an illusion.
Yeah, I think that's a camera. That's a camera issue.
Oh, there's also I pulled it off before it cooled down, so I bent it a little bit. So like
look at it.
It was soft.
On edge. Look at it on edge is usually where you really see pressure advance. Because what it helps with is, see there's less bulging on your corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much better. Like I said, it's
other corners are like a little bit dog-eared, right? They've got that little kind of wider at the bottom, puckered at the top kind of corner.
That's also partially due to the lack of cooling on the one side.
It is, but if you go look at if you ever do like the full pressure advance thing, you'll be able to actually find. You'll just generally look. You basically set up a cube and you change the pressure advance every 25 levels.
Yeah, but how does that really tell you much? Because you're only looking at the side of the print at that point.
Yeah, what happens is the filament bulges. So you'll basically see the side, you'll see smooth, 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 and then at a certain point it will basically stop being smooth. You'll see the corners bulge out more, etc.
Yeah.
Like you can visually.
Do you have a picture you can send me?
Yeah, let me find something.
Because I think it tells you more looking at the top surface than it does at the side when I compare the two sides of these.
If you look at the pressure,
look at the pressure advance tutorial,
and that'll break it down for you.
Where's this pressure advance tutorial?
On the Duet. So there's the thing on it. And look at the section on the simplest method possible. If you don't like the options that are more complicated at the top. And then there's an interpreting the result section.
And where do you put this G-code at?
So if you read their thing, you're basically you create a 100mm cube, one bottom layer, one or two perimeters, no minimal or no infill, and then you basically print it now. The one thing.
Oh,
you
there's a
have
layer
is,
change G-code?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Prusa slicer.
Well, no, I mean, where is that at in the Prusa Slicer? I haven't seen that.
Go to printer, custom G-code.
Oh, okay. I would have expected that to be in the filament section.
Yeah. And that will basically, with that G-code, and then printing 100mm cube, you basically will see kind of how it'll have that, like that one you can see like there's a bulge or a zipper. What they're doing is, as it gets too wide, so essentially think of it like coasting, right? You're starting the line, and you're coming back around, and then you're coasting into place, and you stop extruding. Well, if you stop too early and it gets thin, that's what you see to the left of that picture. And if you're not coasting at all, then you'll get it basically putting, blobbing or pushing it out. And so what you see is how it gets wider, and then it gets thinner, and then about midway to the cube, it starts to look loose. So for instance, you could take the levels between, so in your case, you're looking at 0.025 and up. So you basically just set it to change the layers between.
Are they doing this in vase mode, or no? They're using no. They're doing it has a seam, so that's not vase mode.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it. They want.
Yeah, you want the seam. Yeah. Any particular reason the sides have to be so long?
Sorry, what was that? Couldn't hear you.
Is there any particular reason the sides have to be so long?
Long enough for it to come to full speed.
Yeah.
So I just found a Bluetooth gyro accelerometer with a 200 hertz output, 9-axis digital compass, magnetometer, 16G, 248 or 16 on the accelerometer with an inclinometer, Bluetooth, $35, built-in battery.
So I saw today that everybody has discovered accelerometer tuning of 3D printers.
Well, I kind of brought it up when they were talking about it. It's like, oh, look at this. And it's like, we've been doing it for decades in the Navy for scene alignment, noise management. What? No.
That was funny.
You should have ice cream. Ice cream is good.
So yeah, so I did that on my current printer a long time ago when I first got it set up, and I basically did exactly what they talked about, and then an additional method. So I did the basically the hammer test, right? You put the accelerometer, aka in this case my phone, on the build plate, and you give the frame a whack, and you look for the peaks. Try to find the peaks that are sub-frequencies of the main peaks. And then the other approach that I did was I mounted it on the bed, and thinking about it, I said, well, most of the time that this is happening, it's happening when I print. So I basically created a pattern that had longer and shorter gaps, and would basically print them, left to right, and sit the phone underneath the bed and look to find where the peaks are. I've actually thought about there's a way that you could reduce it, and I've seen a couple examples of machinists doing this on lathes.
Yeah.
So what you do is, you know how you have a lot of lathes these days, people are using VFDs, right?
Okay, maybe.
So VFDs let you take a two-phase current and turn it into a three-phase, because most big lathes use like three-phase motors.
Oh yeah,
and you
don't disagree. I don't know what's current.
Right.
Because the lathe that I used was, it was a heavy 10.
Right.
And it bolted to a submarine. So.
Yeah. So the reason that you use three-phase motors is not because they're stronger, but it's because with three-phase you can change the speed of the lathe without changing the torque.
Yep.
Right? You can basically maintain constant torque.
Well, we also didn't mess with. We didn't have a speed controller on the motor.
That's fun. Geared?
Yeah, it was. I had like a 24-speed gearbox.
Yeah. So what they do a lot of times now is they'll use a VFD to control the speed of the lathe, right?
Okay.
Well, one of the things that you have on lathes, and you're aware of this, obviously, is you get chatter, right?
If your speed isn't matched to the, if you're not matched to the task, yes.
Yeah. So one of the things, also you've got, if you're cutting way far away from essentially the longer the thing you're cutting and the further out you are on the cut, the more likely it is to chatter, right?
Yeah, you gotta have a rigid setup. So yeah.
However, if you're lucky, if you're smart, what I've seen a couple examples of doing is you constantly change the velocity. You basically randomly sweep back and forth between a very narrow RPM range, so that you basically don't ever have a chance to keep a constant velocity and build up a resonance.
Okay, I can see that.
So, and the plain simplest version I've ever seen of this is, it was the first time I kind of saw it, and I was like, whoa. ABE did a thing on his channel where he literally just used a switch. You could basically just toggle the switch back and forth and change the speed. And I saw that and I was like, that's brilliant. Well, I've thought about it. You could do the same thing in GCode.
You could.
You basically, if you knew what resonant frequencies to avoid.
What just happened?
I didn't like what was happening when it got to one of the corners. It seems like maybe I need to run the homing sequence again. Maybe I leaned on it or something. I don't know.
Oh.
also haven't built a bed mesh.
No, I haven't. In theory, I shouldn't need a bed mesh, but who knows?
Sorry, I just raised my eyebrows at you and looked askance.
Well, that's what Josh always said, is that you shouldn't need one with the plate so flat in the tramming.
True. But yeah, so I have had some thoughts that you could probably do the same kind of thing in a 3D printer. If you know the worst resonances in a printer, or for instance in the print head itself, and you were to then basically, you know, build in GCode, build a tool to basically look at it and ignore it and move on. You know, basically change the feed, you know, the feed rate randomly. So find things where there's, you know, quick, frequent, you know, small changes, and basically modify that.
Okay.
So once I have some time to dedicate to it, because the other thing is theoretically you could build it in automatically to the printer itself.
Well, once you've identified what the resonance, what its particular resonances are,
Yeah.
right? You can just avoid those loop frequencies.
Right.
You have to run it. You'll have to run sequences. There'll be you won't need to extrude during it. You just need to work a pattern, you know, right?
Yep.
And the test protocol. And if you've got an accelerometer on it, and that I just actually bought one of these accelerometers, and I'll just mount it to the machine, you know, and then not on the bed, but I mean, maybe on the bed, maybe not. I don't think mounting it on the bed is going to be the right answer. Okay, so are you baby stepping?
No, I'm not baby stepping.
That's so cool to see it parked with like no tool on it, and then it goes over and magically picks up the tool. Like, just warms a little spot in my heart.
Yeah. People say I have the heart of a small boy. I say I keep it in a jar on my desk.
Oh, how was the spring assembly for that?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. It came together pretty easily. But I've worked with springs before, and I've got the right tools for it. So
I didn't find it too bad.
Yeah, by the way, gentlemen, happy Murph.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's not great either. For some reason, this side of the bed just seems to be a little down.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm definitely going to have to run a mesh.
Mesh. Just level it. You know, put some matchsticks under the corner, right?
It is a little puzzling, though, that, like, why would it, with the tramming, it should fix it, unless this corner is up a little bit, or I have a bubble in the corner or something. I mean, that's one thing that the whole running it without a mesh doesn't do for you is if you have some sort of imperfection in the print surface, you know.
Yeah.
Like, even if the aluminum plate is absolutely perfect, if there's something wrong with the, you know, the plates on top of it.
Right. So what hot end do you have on with the Humera?
You mean what
Oh,
nozzle?
he's got-
Volcano or hot? Your hot end.
Oh, no, it's just a regular 0.4 millimeter. It's a nozzle X instead of like brass.
Okay.
And I'm using a copper heat block, not that that really makes a difference. I wanted that Hermera to be able to hit higher temperatures in case I wanted to print something hotter.
I should go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
So the ender just, well, apparently that went well. Popped right off. So I have a new carriage point. To get the as I picked it off the bed, and it literally came off the bed as soon as I grabbed it. The brim just shot off, completely separated from it, and now I'm getting the supports out with me. So give me a sec.
One thing I need to do is make sure I gotta align the tip of the tool to the bed probe.
Got it.
Man, it's so interesting seeing how these belts move, and it's like the one belt is staying perfectly stationary
Yeah.
because it's running at 45s.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing, dude.
It's like watching a delta.
Now I wish I wouldn't have slowed down my first layer.
Yeah.
It's not even half done. Yeah, I'm definitely having adhesion issues. Like this first layer is not looking good in towards the middle of this print.
Well, you saw what H2B did. He was having adhesion, and he ended up. One of the things that he ended up doing, bed mesh, to create a mesh for it. And then once he did that, he all of his bed leveling problems were gone. All right, that actually looks really good.
No, I'll work on a mesh tomorrow. I like our little spring assembly thing that we have here.
I don't know if that's in focus or not. My eyes are all blurry. Hold on.
Should be in focus.
No, the problem is my hands are shaking a little bit.
I was actually looking at your guys' little spring assembly thing the other day. That was actually what got me thinking about the Hall effect sensor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, basically put a magnet on the tool, put a Hall effect sensor on the stand, and as you push in, right, you'll see the magnet get closer. Then it will stop as it bottoms out on this, where in relation to its location. Then as you take the retract away from it, the springs are going to push it out a little bit, and when it stops moving, you know it's stopped in place. It's been seated. And then as you come in and push on it to pick it up, you know when you're in contact with it.
Wow, this first layer is so horrible.
So you see those little rectangles at the bottom of the holes there?
Is this the yellow thing you printed? Yeah.
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 That's that actually printed, the gap printed properly. So yeah, you put an M3 flathead, like a 6 millimeter M3 flathead in the hole.
Yep.
And then you drive the pins until contact.
Okay.
And that's your metal to metal contact on it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then you can you essentially, the last two screws at the bottom on the center, you pick off leads there. So 2 leads go running off the printer at that point. And let me make another picture here real quick.
I don't understand what's happening here.
Is the
God.
through the filament?
Huh?
Or is it above? Are you too little squish or too much squish?
Too little.
Okay, so wow.
So my dog is currently being a little drama queen, and it's hilarious.
All right.
My fiance is sitting there with her phone talking to me, communicating something on the computer or whatever, asking me questions. The dog comes over, sits in her lap, and he's like sitting in front of her. She's got her phone, and he acknowledges his presence, and he ducks under her arm and inserts himself between her arm and the phone.
Yeah.
and then just sits there between her and the phone. And then when she picks him up, he growls and gets snarly because, like, how dare you pick me up?
What kind of dog is it?
Ridiculous. He's a Maltese Yorkie.
Yeah, Levi was giving me a hard time earlier today. He was helping. As you can see. So there you go.
Oh.
moving really fast.
It's an accident.
Are you trying to do,
For fuck's sake.
what test are you running?
I'm trying to run the pressure advance test, but I can't get the stupid filament to stick to the bed.
I mean, if it's working in that very center, but if you move away, you probably got a ball.
Barely sticking anywhere, really.
I'm definitely going to marry my fiance.
I mean, is it your
know,
choice?
at this point, no, but, you know. Yeah, she says I can't take it back. But I know how to push her buttons so well.
And this is a good thing?
Oh yeah, no, it's entirely a lot of fun. Like right now, I can probably smile at her and say, "Keep on, keep it on," and she just glared at me and shook her head. Because that's not what a vice president freaking says.
That's okay. Did it stick?
I cheated.
Oh, how did you cheat?
Tape?
No, I very carefully lifted the one corner of the build plate up and made it stick. And then I dropped it, after the first layer, I let it drop back down.
And yet you won't do baby stepping.
No. I'll do mesh level tomorrow. I just wanted to get this print to work.
Okay. Is there a little jog in that side?
Or a little jog? What do you mean?
It's pausing or hesitating.
Oh, it's the seam. I have it going 0.2 millimeter or 2 millimeters past, and then going back and then starting the next layer.
Oh, okay.
I always found that it gave me cleaner seams on my previous printer to do it that way. But who knows? Maybe if I get the pressure advance dialed in, I'll go back to. I'll try not coasting.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna take a while. So I want to go to bed.
So let it go to bed. Let it finish.
I suppose. I haven't left the Jubilee on overnight yet.
You don't quite trust it.
Uh,
That's okay. That's perfectly reasonable at this point.
I mean, I feel better about it now than, a week ago. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I just like watching the belt as they seemingly transition randomly from which direction they're traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not random, but just looking at them, they're just kind of they're going together, then they're going opposite, and then they're going the other direction, and they're going opposite in the other direction. Kind of neat to see. Or the fact that the gantry's traveling, but when it's going in Y, the belts aren't moving in X, yet the belts are moving. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It's just interesting. Like the steppers are moving, but the belts aren't moving. At least in that one section. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I should bother running this test because one corner's peeling up. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cancel it. I'll get mesh bed leveling working tomorrow, and then
run it.
yeah. Then I also probably put a brim on it, so I don't have to bother printing an entire first layer. Wow, pressure advance was really doing something goofy there at the end, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the corners don't have any filament in them.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, if you've got that, you can, and you know what your steps were, you can measure the length, or measure the height, go to your, and you probably got something to work with here. So when you do the next one, you've got a range to work in.
Well, I'll just run it proper next time.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, have a good night.
Yep, you too.